Late last month, Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue urged farmers to be patient as payments for the USDA's Market Facilitation Program continue to roll out. These are the first half of the payments, with Perdue saying the second round should arrive before Christmas. I sat down with UNL agricultural economist Dr. Brad Lubben to get an update on the MFP program and learn what farmers can do to minimize their risk during these tenuous times. So I'd like to talk about any updates that have happened in regards to the USDA Trade Assistant Package, and also for folks who aren't as familiar with what happened with that, maybe give a quick refresher on it too.
Yeah. Well, you know, Secretary of Agriculture has talked about helping to support ag as long as ag was suffering from the ongoing trade conflict. And they announced a package of assistance, originally advertised as up to $12 billion of assistance, but a first round, at least here, that adds up to something around $6 billion that would offer the Market Facilitation Program payments to producers of commodities that suffered trade losses.
Right, certain groups, yeah.
Certain commodities. That's where we see the payment rate on 50% of 2018 production as a first round of assistance. We also saw some promises of commodity purchases, typically purchases of some of those specialty crops, and as well as meat and dairy products to go towards some of the food programs, school lunches, food banks, etc. That helps support overall demand, that helps support prices in the absence of some of that export demand. And then we see a little bit of support also put into more market promotion and development through USDA's Foreign Ag Service and through the leveraging of partnerships with private sector groups. That's a little bit in limbo as some of the funding for those market development programs is also in limbo with an expired farm bill. But fundamentally, that was the assistance offered to try and make direct payments or commodity purchases or additional market promotion efforts to help producers through the current situation.
So it seems like this season has been especially tough for a lot of producers because you've got the uncertainty with the trade, with the farm bill delay. Commodity prices have been kind of sketchy too. So what are some risk management tools that producers can use?
You know, it's fair to say that we've often looked at farm policy and farm programs as a risk management tool, and yet at the moment we're watching the policy developments as a risk itself. You've got uncertainty with an expired farm bill, you've got the ongoing trade conflict, the promises of potential trade agreements or negotiations in the wings, but yet ongoing conflict with losses. You have uncertainty relating to bioenergy policy and the impact on biofuel demand. You have uncertainty on environmental policy and immigration policy, and on down the road. We're probably dealing with as much policy risk today as perhaps we ever have. And yet, to get through this, to manage through it, producers still have to put together a good, integrated, sound risk management plan that can fundamentally get them through regardless of the environment they're working in. And I think of the typical crop and livestock producer. They face production risk. They need to look at their production decisions as well as their insurance options if they have them. They face marketing risk, and they need to manage that marketing risk, whether it's being an aggressive hedger or whether it's looking at other marketing alternatives. They need to understand their financial risk, and clearly managing production and marketing risk are a component of that. And they need to manage policy risk. And they need to remember that those aren't sort of four independent things to do. Those are all part of one bigger portfolio.
Part of the puzzle, yeah.
What you do on production risk complements what you do on marketing risk, which is also affected by what you do with farm program participation. It's not four separate games, it's one big portfolio. That's a challenge to even communicate, let alone analyze and make decisions on. But it clearly is one of the challenges we have to work on. It helps explain why risk management is such a critical area to focus on.